Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this course. This is section 3 and the second module. In the past sections in this module, we talked about setting up the Seller Central. We also talked about the buy box and how we do the pricing. Today, I'm going to actually walk you through the entire Seller Central, most important components of it, or most important areas that you need to pay attention to. So while I go through this presentation, once I finish it, finish the slides, we'll go over the actual Seller Central. So in this section, we will do an overview of the Seller Central. We're going to walk through the dashboard, how to manage your entire Amazon FBA business. We're also going to talk about the orders, inventories, where you find the reports, and what are the performances that you need to pay extra attention to in order for you to have a successful business. So in the main dashboard, we're going to talk about the sale performance. So every time you have a sale, there's performance, and your account is measured against these performances. So we want to make sure that your the account health is at its best rating. We're also going to talk about the inventory and the inventory status. And we're going to see how we can monitor all of these activities basically every single day. This is where I live, and it really doesn't take that much time. It's going to become very easy for you, maybe once or twice a day. I know it kind of gets really addicting, but we're gonna make it where you just check it in the morning and maybe check it in the afternoon, and that's it. So in this section, we'll also look at the orders, how the orders come in, what is the status of these orders, if they are pending, if they are shipped, if there are returns. We're also going to talk about, or we're going to see where we can manage the customer feedbacks or customer services in case there's a customer that needs a return. Usually the returns are automated unless otherwise you are doing seller fulfilled, and we'll talk about that. I actually have a really good example that I kept for you to see for customer returns from a seller fulfilled item. And then we're going to talk about inventory management. So how to add and remove products or even update a product listing. These are like adding a product, removing it is not as important, but I'll still show you how to do it. Adding it is very simple. And then we'll also look at how we could restock the inventory or how to manage the inventory in general. There are reports that we can look at. So, speaking of reports, we do have reports that Amazon provides to us. Some of them are actually all of them almost are important. Some of them are irrelevant to you, such as brand reports. We will not talk about that. Even the advertising reports, will stay away from them for now because we're not intending on spending money on advertisements. Again, remember, we're looking at products that will sell themselves because they have really good brands. This account that I'm going to show you is not my primary account, but it's an account that I use that has enough sales to show everyone how things are performing. But also, it does show a mixture of books that I'm selling or even an actual brand that I sell. So we'll get to it when we get to it. We're also going to cover the performance and the account health. Like I mentioned before, performance and account health really make or break your business and the longevity of your business on Amazon. So you have to maintain a really good account health. And the reason being because the way Amazon operates, it starts from the bottom up, meaning anything and everything you do has to cater to the customers. And that's why they have been very successful, because they want to make sure that their experience as an Amazon.com transfers through the seller, and the customer will not feel any difference between Amazon or the third-party seller that are selling on Amazon. They want to maintain that high level of customer service. We also want to talk about how to resolve any issues and maintain a strong seller rating, such as reaching out to customers or giving them returns or giving them refunds, and reaching out to them and seeing if they need help with anything. So all of these are important. And there's also a parameter in which what you can and cannot speak to the customers about, such as asking for reviews. But in your case, again, in what we're doing right now, a lot of these will not be applicable unless we cross I don't want to say the fence, but cross the benchmark to starting your own private label. We'll talk about that as we go in this course. I also want to show you where to find some of the insights. How to use the business reports for sales and trends and customer feedback, even reviews. How do we get reviews and ratings? What you really need to care about is your seller account feedback. These are really important. This is basically reviews about your seller behavior, your selling activities on Amazon. And it's really a good thing to have like a big number of good seller feedback that reflects your good customer service, that reflects the credibility and the trust that the customers can look into. And that also helps into your account health. The lower seller rating that you have, the harder you will get the buy box. So it's very important to maintain a really strong seller feedback. One of the really good things that you will enjoy as an FBA seller, Amazon will take responsibility for any delays in shipments or any damaged shipments that Amazon caused. And Amazon will remove some of these feedbacks, and we will talk about these as well. All right, so final tips before we move into the Seller Central is that you really need to regularly check Seller Central. I religiously have been looking at Seller Central every single day for the past 10, 15 years. And that doesn't become cumbersome. It doesn't become really hard on you. It becomes part of your routine. Every morning you wake up. Since you also have it on your phone, it's so much easier that you could look at it, see if there's any account health alerts, if there are any issues that you need to address. And trust me, you will know immediately if there are any alerts, because Amazon will make sure that you address them as soon as possible. It will say action required, or it will tell you your account is at risk for deactivation. You have to address certain areas. So it's very important that you have access at any given moment. Even if you go on vacations, you still have to have access to your Seller Central. And last but not least, maintaining a healthy account for long-term success is crucial for you to make sure that you are selling and you are doing really great with Amazon. Now let's head over to Seller Central and go over what we just talked about. All right, now we are inside of Seller Central, and I wanted to show you a couple of things that are really important here. But this is when you land on your Seller Central account, where you can see right here, Seller Central. It will show you the daily sales. So if you actually go down here and choose how many days you want to see your sales for, let's say for 7 days, you could see how many accounts are available for you. You have Brazil, in South America, you have Mexico, in North America, United States, and Canada. I typically don't like to sell in these countries, but this is something we can talk about. And you can see here the number of sales that I've had in the past 7 days. Again, this is one of the accounts that I like to share and show you what it looks like for some of the sales that I have. And if you go to 15 days, it will give you a better view, as well as 30 days. The cool thing is you could toggle between table and graph, and you can see the sales, how they're happening as they go day by day. So again, this is the dashboard. Now it shows here that you have we have 2 open orders, meaning that they are still pending. FBM is fulfilled by merchant, unshipped. There's nothing that I'm really shipping in the meantime. There's FBM pending, and there's FBA pending right here. Buyer messages, you will see that immediately when you have any message or any inquiry from the buyers. And featured offer, if you look right here, it says the featured offer percentage indicates that the average time that listings with customers' views were featured offer. The featured offer is the offer near the top of the product detail. This is not something you really want to worry about. I just wanted to show you right here, but it's good. You want it to be as high as possible. Now, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. It says here your account health is at risk. And the reason why I wanted to show you this, because sometimes it's really scary when you see these things. Your account health, and I'm not telling you not to take this seriously. In this situation, I shipped a product, but the product, this was an FBM. Usually speaking, or typically speaking, you will see a lot of these alerts, or your account is at risk if you're shipping a product and it became delayed. We had a customer in the past 14 days, or even not even in the past 14 days. I don't ship a lot of FBM. I do a lot of FBAs. Obviously, that's what I'm teaching you to do, FBA. But if the product was 1 day late and you're not selling a lot of FBM, then they will complain, basically. And what they want you to be at 90%. But imagine if you have only one product that was late, that's 100%. And that could be a huge problem for you if you were late on one product. I wouldn't really pay so much attention to it, but you also need to make sure that if you're selling FBM, make sure you just ship it on time. It's as simple as that. All right, let's get back to the Seller Central. This is going to be a little bit of a long video, but it's very important. You can break it down into multiple times to watch it. Seller feedback. This is what I told you is very important. This is a reflection of your account, not the items, but it's your account. It's all, there's this alert that says, watch this space for updates to your customer service quality insights. We appreciate the feedback received so far and look forward to launching an improved experience soon. So you will see in the last 30 days how many positive reviews. I don't really actively go after this. I have enough reviews that people just work on these accounts, so which is really good. You can see here 135 reviews. This is really good. 135 at 4.7 star rating. Again, this is not my main account. This is an account that I like to teach my students look at. But if you look at here, I get seller feedbacks, and it's kind of interesting. Sometimes you see the comments are reflective on the product itself, but they left that review in the wrong place, which sometimes can be cool. Sometimes you want that review to go on the product review. However, if it's a 5 stars, it's really good. I mentioned to you some of the bad seller ratings can come from customers based on the shipments, and that's exactly one of these reviews. It says liars claimed that the return was duplicate sent by mistake, and then Amazon responded to the customer and said this item was fulfilled by Amazon and we take responsibility for this experience, and there's nothing that has to do with the seller themselves. You could see the same thing here. Sometimes you'll get some bad reviews and you really can't do anything about it. But these, again, are seller feedbacks. All right, so let's head over back to Seller Central. you have an inventory performance index. This shows you your performance index here. And if you read what that means, the inventory performance index, or IPI, which is inventory performance index, is a metric to gauge your inventory performance over time, measuring how efficient and productive you are in managing your FBA inventory. This is a really good thing to keep track of. And then ad sales, you could see how many sales you got from advertisements. You don't want to worry about any of this right here. That's not something for you. That's not something for you as well. You need to worry about this, something to look at. Also, this is ads impressions. How many impressions did you get from advertising is not something you want to worry about as well. And also here it says how many stores you have. Initially, I would just start with the United States. Now here it shows some of the inventory that you're running low on. You could restock some of these items. You have lending opportunities. This will happen as they see consistent sale that's coming every single month, and you'll get those. We'll have another section about lending. I wouldn't want to worry about any of these right now, but it is something that you can always look at and decide, is it for me right now? Usually they have a higher percentage, but it's something that you can rest assured that you have options for these down the road. All right, so let's take a look at what makes Amazon very special. So you have manage all inventories, and I mentioned to you, this is when you go here and you hit inventory, you will see manage all inventories, manage seller fulfilled products. These are the FBM, and sell globally, manage automotive. Obviously, these are not for you, but you could also have FBA inventory, shipments. Shipments are one thing we will talk about as well. All right, so in the inventory, I have this one out of stock. I've started recently entertaining the ideas of selling books. It really is a hit or miss depending on the items. But I mentioned before, your seller rank, this is the BSR. If it was below 100,000, thousands for a book, this is really good to buy. But anyways, here you could see if you, this is an FBA. I made it an FBA. If you want, you could even change it to an FBM. And you could do that by clicking on the product, going to edit, and change it into an FBM. And I think you have to, it used to be here where you could say change it to FBM, but then when you click on edit listing, you'll be able to change it into FBM. But then here you could set the price, minimum price. This is for automation. If you want to automate, remember we talked about the buy box. If you want to stay competitive, you want to know how much you want to sell it for. And then what is the minimum you're able to take it? What is the maximum? There's also a revenue calculator right here. Today, right now, the offer that's gaining the buy box is $32.97. So if you go and take this product, send it to Amazon at $32, by default you will earn the buy box. However, this featured offer might even drop the price and gain the buy box. That's why you need to know what's your minimum. So let's say my minimum is $20 and your maximum will be $33, for example. So like you don't want to go higher than $33. And usually this happens when there are no competitors and you are earning the buy box. It will go up to $33. And or even if your competitors are going up to 34, 35, you will only stop at 33. And the lowest you will go, again, this depends on how you source your products. For example, this product, to be honest with you, I went to the DI and I found it for only $1. So I could really go as low as 15 if I want today, and I would still make money. total fees obviously here is $10. Yeah, obviously it says $10 here, but depends on how much money you want to make, right? And depends on turnover. If you want to make the products move fast and you spent $1, I would consider being a little bit aggressive. So this is in the inventory. Now let's talk about orders. Obviously there's also pricing here. Pricing health, it will show you how your pricing is doing. Automate pricing, this is exactly where you automate pricing too. So they have it in multiple places. And fee discounts, negotiated pricing. I've never used any of these. I've used automated pricing, and you check out the pricing health of your products. I don't have anything that I'm concerned with here, so you wouldn't want to be concerned with. Now let's take a look at orders. Orders are fun. This is like the most satisfying place when you go here and you see orders coming in. You could see, how frequent are they coming. You could say, I want to see in the last day, I want to see in the last 90 days, and you could do date ascending or descending, and that's how you get all the orders. It says pending or payment complete, pending. See, there's it says here refund applied. You keep going down and forth. And then you could also see what orders have been canceled. I don't really pay attention to the canceled ones because they haven't shipped, they haven't been a return, so I don't pay so much attention. I know it's a lost sale. You can't reach out to these customers, you can't talk to them, so it's really cool to just see them here. Now we talked about all the orders, but look again, all of these are FBA orders. If you click right here, it will show you fulfilled by seller, and you could go by canceled or you could go by shipped, and then it will show you how many were shipped. So that's when it comes to orders. Now let's talk about the next one, which is advertising. I don't want to go inside of the advertising. This is for a little bit more advanced sellers. When you start advertising, you could go into the campaign manager. I'll probably make a couple live sessions about campaign management. Usually we want to avoid that because you could spend a lot of money in advertising, and I don't think for the products that we're targeting today, especially when it comes to retail arbitrage, we want to advertise for these listings. So we'll talk about this more as we go, as we get a good grasp on selling on Amazon. Usually if you're making above 5,000-6,000 a month, we could start talking about advertising, and hopefully you joined my community, and when you join the community, we'll talk about these, how we could scale from $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Stores, you have a way to manage stores, but this is very irrelevant right now because it's applicable for those that own a brand. So we want to stay away from this one for now. Growth is kind of the same thing also for brand owners. Reports are important. So now we're talking about inventory, orders, pricing, and reports. Reports, you will see business reports, you will see fulfillment reports, advertisement reports, return reports, and then all of these you could actually customize them as you go. But let's talk about the business reports. I know this is a long video, but please pay attention to it. Kind of section it into multiple videos, but it's really good to kind of do this walkthrough. If you look here, it will show you how many items you sold or how many order items, and then unit ordered, and then unit sale, as well as the average units per order, as well as average sales per order. If you look here, you have an option to go to yesterday, You hit apply, and it will do a comparison between yesterday and last week, and then same day last year. And if you do the same thing here, you would see more. This is really good because it shows you how you're tracking against last month and year-over-year performance. So as I walk you through this, I just want to reiterate where you will be spending most of the time. You will be spending most of your time right here in the dashboard. You will see some of the actions. And again, this is sort of the same thing when it comes to your cell phone app. You have also, you can see some alerts. Like for example, this is one of the items that I need to authorize for refund. This is a product that I shipped via fulfillment by merchant. Otherwise, you wouldn't even see those things. But you know, you get to see the alert right here in the front. So we're paying attention to the seller dashboard. You pay attention to your account health, pay attention to the seller feedback, as well as your sales we talked about. And then when you click here, inventory is very important. You manage your inventory. This is where you also send your shipments. We'll talk about that in a different video. And pricing is a very important place where you could automate pricing. You can see the health of your pricing. I don't really even go to health pricing. I go to automate pricing. Orders are very important. This is where you manage your orders. This is where you create a multi-channel fulfillment order. This is not for you. You will not need that. I use this specifically when I want to send an item to a wholesaler that wants to take on some of the brands that I have. So you should not worry about this one. But orders, you will watch it here. And then manage returns, obviously. You manage it here. Depends. You could go to FBA returns. You don't have to do anything with the FBA returns. They do by themselves. But you get to see average return rate, total return units, and number of ASINs with returns. It gives you all of that information. By the way, you see a high return here because I sell a lot of the clothing. And by the way, I did talk about this in my course, and I will talk a little bit more. I even created a couple of blog posts on this, that clothing isn't the best option for beginners because you have to have a bit of a higher threshold for risk as they, customers take the products, they test them out, and then they bring them back to you, sometimes with holes. So you need to be cognizant of that. So I would, starting out, I would stay away from clothing. So now we have inventory we need to take care of, or we need to look at every single day. We look at orders, and those are all in the dashboard. We want to look at reports. The reports, you could look at them maybe once a week or twice a week. You should be fine. And those are the important things. And then now we move into the performance. You have account health. It shows you all of the important stuff about account health. Like I mentioned before, your on-time delivery rate is 0%. It should be at 90%, but that happened because of one single item that I shipped, and I shipped on time, but it arrived a little late, and then that caused for this risk of deactivation. All right, well, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please post your questions or reach out. Thank you so much.